tips on sleep, diet, and introduction to biohacking. My name is Anthony Horn, and welcome to Mud Girl TV. Now, to discover more, our next guest is an LA-based personal trainer and one of the world's very first biohacking fitness and recovery specialists. This is Heidi Miller. Thank you, Heidi, for being with us here today.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, well, we're excited too. I'm very excited. Now, before we talk about biohacking and other fun tips for better health, can you tell me who was Heidi Miller?
Oh, yes. This is an interesting story. So I had been an athlete as a child and through college, and then after school, got into the workforce, started working, had kids. I have 3 kids. And ended up in a really great job, but a really stressful job where I was traveling a lot. And I found that I had gained 40 pounds. I woke up one day and I was like, nothing fits. What's going on? And what came with that too was a lot of depression, and I was just really stressed all the time. And I found that I was doing a lot of emotional eating to kind of help with that, get that serotonin, that dopamine boost to get through the day. And I was miserable, and I was depressed, and I was really unhealthy. And, oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just wondering, when you say you're out of energy, you just felt, how did you feel? Can you give a bit more details, how you felt during that stressful time?
Oh, just everything took effort. I can remember even just like getting out of a car, I'd be winded, going to the grocery store, getting like cat litter. I dreaded having to pick up the cat litter and bring it, put it into my cart. Like I couldn't do anything. And I was young. I was 40 years old. So it really got to the point where I also come from a family history of people who were overweight and obese. And so I also genetically, I've tested that I have a genetic predisposition to be overweight. So I kind of read it off as like, well, this is just my life now. Now this is what I just have to, I've signed up for. And when I started to work out, it was really more about stress relief. It wasn't even about the physicality. It was more, how do I make myself feel better? I'm sad all the time. Things hurt all the time. So I started doing yoga. I did yoga 6 days a week when I signed up, I decided that I was going to do 100 classes. And then I would decide if I could do it or not, or if it was for me. Because you can't do anything for a week and decide.
Okay.
So I gave myself that goal. And after about somewhere around the 80th class, I stopped counting. I just forgot. I was just enjoying it so much, but my body hadn't really changed. I was really limber and strong, but physically I looked the same. And I remember one day seeing this group of people who were just all really, really fit. And I walked up to them and I said, what am I doing wrong? And they said, well, what are you doing? And I was like, yoga, hot yoga. I'm sweating 6 days a week. And they were like, well, what are you eating? And I was like, a lot of bread and pasta and cheese and, oh, wait, diet? Yeah, but I felt like I deserved it because I was working out. And it was really then that I just started to realize that nutrition had such a big role. And also that group I became friends with and then started weight training with them. And I realized weight training was really important too. Weight-bearing exercises are super important. So, and then what happened is I lost a bunch of weight really quickly once I put those 2 things together. Mm-hmm. And people, not only just friends, but people on Instagram, people on Facebook reached out to me and they said, what are you doing? Like, how did you lose so much weight so quickly? How do you look so young? How are you reverse aging? And I had enough people ask me that, and asked me to train them. I thought, well, I don't want to hurt anybody. So I went and got my training certification. And within 2 days, I had a fully booked roster and a wait list.
Wow.
So
wow.
I'm running with that, and it's been amazing.
Okay, so now we know who Heidi was before. And now today, you are a specialist in biohacking and recovery. Is that correct?
Yes. I was fortunate enough to get hired at Upgrade Labs in Beverly Hills. There's a Santa Monica location, Beverly Hills location. It's Dave Asprey of Bulletproof Coffee fame. He's written books. He's the father of biohacking. So I got to work with their facility, and what an incredible learning experience, and really about taking care of yourself so that you can then be better.
Okay.
Physically, you can reverse age, you can, I mean, down to the point where you can measure your telomeres, which are the end. I mean, there's so many things in biohacking that are incredible, that what biohacking is, like what we talked about, talking about what that is measuring your own body and knowing it's all data driven. So for instance, I know what my genetic makeup is. And actually,
Okay.
most people have already gone to 23andMe or Ancestry.com. If you go there, you can download a CSV file and upload it to a site called Found My Fitness, and it will give you your genetic breakdown of things your predisposition for certain things, about the way you process vitamins. So it's about learning your own biology, not just leaving it in the hands of a doctor, but
Okay. So
knowing.
biohacking for 101
Yes,
is learning about your own biology to
yes.
be able to control it or modify it. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's all about monitoring yourself. So for instance, I wear two things. I wear a BioStrap and then an Aura Ring. So they're very similar, but they do a little bit different things. The Aura Ring does body temperature. It also does REM sleep, which
Mm-hmm.
is really important for creativity. This one actually has been really helpful recently. This one does oxygen saturation, which has been really great, because one thing we do know about coronavirus is it affects your lungs. So if your oxygen saturation drops below 90, you need supplemental oxygen.
Okay. Are there
Um,
simple things that with minimum equipment that we can do, like we could start today in terms of biohacking?
oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh, there's so much. I mean, honestly, there are things all the time that nature is a biohack, basically. So, for instance, one thing we're going to talk about is sleep. So sunlight helps with sleep. If you can get out into the sunlight for 20 minutes a day, it helps reset your circadian rhythm, and it will help you sleep better. So that's something really important. So I think people are inside their apartments, and they're, especially now, we're all just staying inside and watching movies and on our phones or computers. But if you can step outside for just 20 minutes and sit in the sun, it will help so much. It helps with depression. It's called chromotherapy, or, basically too, you want as much skin as you can have exposed. It's photobiomodulation. Your cells actually absorb. We're like plants. We absorb the energy from the sun.
So, okay, so I can understand. So there's a lot of tips and tricks that we can do without so much equipment. Then we want to go further now. I had a chance to look on your Instagram, and there's these crazy future tech looking apparatus that you're wearing. Can you give me a preview of that or what it's used for?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that we use at Upgrade is used with NASA. I mean, a lot of it comes directly from NASA, which is pretty amazing. There's one picture on my Instagram where I'm wearing kind of a helmet, and that's
Yeah.
called a Bobby. It's a brain mapping, so it can actually, you can improve your brain function. So it's not even just about physicality. It's about getting rid of inflammation. It's about charging your cells. It's about, so I can monitor everything that's happening in my body using this really high tech equipment, which it's great because this is more and more places like this are popping up. People think, places that have red light. People have cryotherapy is really great. That's an amazing biohack to get rid of inflammation. It burns calories. It boosts endorphins. But again, biohacking, you can go jump in the ocean, and that's also cryotherapy, because the ocean's cold and your blood vessels, contract and push out all the toxins and gets rid of inflammation. Plus there you're getting minerals. So there's so many things that we can do in nature. There's another thing called grounding, where you literally go stand on the dirt and you're getting the vibration from the earth. So the earth is a, big magnet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, South Pole, North Pole. And when lightning hits the earth, it vibrates. And we know this. We know the vibration. It's called Schulmann's resonance. resonance, and it's 7.8. We know this because Tesla was one of the people. Nikola Tesla was one of the people to discover this, and NASA now uses it because when astronauts go to space, they lose bone density and muscle mass because they're away from the pulse of the Earth. So we know how beneficial it is. So literally just getting outside, touching the ground is a biohack.
It's sometimes I'm from what I'm understanding, like this is biohacking 101 for myself here. Even the simplest things, just going back to nature and just taking control of your body, or is that a bit the concept? Let me take control of my body. Let me take control of what's going on, or at least monitor it so I understand it, to be able to modify it to my advantage, or to live longer, or to have a healthier lifestyle.
Exactly. It's exactly it. And so, for instance, I biohacked my eyesight. Like, I was starting to need glasses. I went to my doctor, I needed glasses. So there are certain, we know that vitamin A is great for eyesight. There's an herb that you can do an eye wash with called eye bright. That's fantastic. Eye exercises are great. It helps, you think about the eyes are actually just the outgrowth of our brain. So when you do eye exercises, you're actually training your eyes. Bringing blood and oxygen to them when you do that, like doing sit up for your eyes. So we can make ourselves better. We just have to focus on what we want to be better at.
Okay, that's interesting. I really enjoy this. It's really, that's it. Once again, taking control. And it puts a bit of power back to yourself. So it's something that's empowering.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it can help with anything. That's one thing I loved about I love, right now we've shut down for a bit before we can reopen. But when I was there, the coolest thing is anybody could come in the front door for anything. They can say, oh, I have insomnia, I have chronic swelling, I have an injury, and I'd be able to prescribe them a routine based on what their goals were. And we had something for everybody because, basically it all kind of boils down to inflammation, and like diet. It's not rocket sciences, and there's no magic pill, or that, these things help. These modalities are really, really useful. But at the end of the day, it's just, you have to move, and you have to drink water, and you have to sleep. It's like, it's not that hard.
All right, let's talk about that. Let's get those, like every episode I ask all my guests, 3 tips, everybody has a roadmap to success. What would be your 3 tips for your own personal success, or something you wish to share?
100%. I know I've already kind of driven into the ground, but I think that was the biggest thing for me. Because I have 3 children, I think I value my sleep more than anybody in the world. Like, if I can get a good night's sleep, it's just so restorative. But then the more I did research on it, you realize how important it is. And the studies that have shown that, sleep, the chronic lack of sleep is really tied to, risk of hypertension, diabetes, obesity, stroke, heart disease, Alzheimer's. So this is an easy fix. You can just go to bed an hour earlier. And part of that is turn your phone off. Like, I don't sleep with my phone in my room. I haven't done that for about 6 years, and I cannot imagine now being able to sleep with my phone in my room. It goes in the kitchen, it's plugged in. If someone needs to reach me, they can't. That's the biggest I get. I need my sleep.
Okay, gotcha. Sleep, that's number 1.
Yeah. And in fact, there was a study only about 5 years ago. They thought, so our body has a lymphatic drainage system that it's kind of the sewage system of our body, and they didn't know that the brain had one. But literally 5 years ago, they realized that when we sleep, the folds in our brain relax and shrink, and that's how we get that garbage out of our head. So that's why sleep is so important, is that's when it's like the cleaning. So that's that. Second would be diet. Honestly, that was another thing with biohacking, is to take a test like a biome test, where it actually maps the biome of your gut, because our gut health and our mental health are also connected. Okay. And so I was able to, I was kind of living, once I got really, really healthy and started eating really well, I was eating a lot of the same foods, a lot of baby spinach, a lot of eggs, lots and lots of eggs, because they're easy, a lot of chicken. And what I did when I found this biome was all of those foods I've been eating for like 3 years were now on my list of foods to avoid because I overdone it. I'd eaten them way too much. And it gave me a list of like foods that I should switch to. And so every 6 months I take a biome test, and it tells me my superfoods, my power foods, and then my foods that I should avoid.
Okay, are those different? Just a little side note. Does that depend on each person?
Yes. Yeah, it's completely. That's what I love about this too. It's what works for me is not going to work for you, and vice versa, because you've got a different body than I do.
Okay.
I think that so much in health and fitness, people try to cram themselves into a box that works for someone else, and that's where they fail, right?
Yeah, I
So
understand.
you can learn the skills and the tools, but you really have to figure out what works for your body.
And listen to your body as well.
Exactly. Most importantly, exactly. For diet, pretty much the rule of thumb is an 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time, if you can eat really healthy, fresh foods, fresh vegetables, as little processed food as possible, then 20% of the time, just go crazy. And I think that's a really good way to live life, because then you're not missing out on the birthday cake or the dinners with friends, or, that glass of wine that you want to sell, to have on a Friday night. I think that's a hard way to live if you're just going to say, no, I can't. It's, so yeah, that's definitely, that works for me. And also I work a lot with bodybuilders, and bodybuilders love their cheat meal. They're just
You see that any Instagram post, that cheat meal is a buffet.
Oh my gosh, like stacks of pancakes and pizza, and I mean it's the best. I mean I love it. So that cheat meal is really important, also so that your body can kind of reset itself and doesn't go into like starvation mode.
Mm-hmm.
So mix it up like that is really, really important.
Okay.
Another thing they say in the gym is that abs are made in the kitchen, and that is 100% true. Like you can do all the sit-ups you want. If you are not eating right, you're not going to have abs. So that's a good rule to live by.
Sleep, diet.
Yes.
Third.
The third is weight-bearing exercise, and I cannot stress this enough, especially for women, which so many women are afraid to lift weights because they think they're going to get bulky and look manly. And I have to say, it's a full-time job to build muscle like that. We as women cannot build muscle like that unless we're taking some kind of synthetic drugs. If you ever see a woman who's too built, you can guarantee that she is taking something else. It's impossible for us to get that big. If you want to get super toned, absolutely. You'll see a lot of people. I see a lot of women just do cardio. They're afraid of weights, and what happens is they call them skinny fat, right? Like you're super skinny, but you don't have any tone.
Mm-hmm.
And so my advice to anybody who wants to work out is pick the body you like, find someone with that body, and ask them what they do. So like, because different exercises are going to produce different bodies. A ballerina looks a lot different than a sprinter.
Mm-hmm.
You imagine sprinters have those short, tight muscles, like thick muscles, the fast twitch, whereas a dancer is elongated. So it really is about what you want and what you want your body to look like, and then tailor your exercises around that. The most important thing, again, for women for weight bearing is bone density. We lose bone density, I think, after 35. And that's really important, because when you build those muscles, you're actually stressing the bone, and the bone adapts. It actually gets stronger. So that's, and also youthful. It just looks, a muscle looks youthful on a body. There's a video, some pictures of, the wedding dress designer. I'm blanking on her name right now, but she's like 70 and she's just cut and she looks amazing. I'm sure it's Photoshop, but it's, oh gosh, I'm totally missing her name right now.
We understand. Yeah, that's perfect. Heidi, thank you for those 3 tips. We've passed our mark, but thank you everybody for that's listening. So much information, and there's so much more. Now, let's give you 10 seconds, Heidi. Get ready. How do we contact you? And it's up to you now.
Okay, the best way to contact me is on Instagram. It's the Heidi Miller Method.
Thank you very much. Heidi Miller, biohacking, sleep, diet, weight training, important things. Once again, thank you all the Mud Girls for watching. My name is Anthony Horn along with Heidi Miller, and we'll be seeing you next episode.